Change in pace here on live from Paris. Let's bring you in, Yuka, with a roundup of the business news for us. Shops and non-essential services are bracing themselves for, revenue loss. This, of course, as a third lockdown in Paris and 15 other regions comes into force at midnight.
That's right, for another month, for the next 4 weeks. And there's still some confusion as to exactly what types of retail business can remain open. The government has already said that unlike during the first two lockdowns, bookshops, music stores and hairdressers can continue to receive clients. Florists, shoe repair shops and chocolate stores have also been added to the list of exceptions. Charlie James brings us some of the reactions from shopkeepers and business owners.
French businesses brace for yet another month of lost revenue. In 16 departments, shops deemed non-essential have been ordered to close. That includes clothing retailers, nail salons, and toy sellers, among others. For some, it was a shock.
Les magasins, les entrepreneurs, les petites entreprises sont à l'épuisement après plus d'un an de gilets jaunes, les grèves, le confinement. 3 confinements pour certains départements, c'est beaucoup.
France's finance ministry says 59,000 businesses will be forced to close in the Paris region, 110,000 nationwide. That's on top of the 70,000 already shut down for health reasons, such as restaurants and gyms. To help businesses from going under, the French government is adding an additional 1.2 billion euros in economic aid to its monthly tab during this lockdown. And a few categories of shops have been spared. Unlike the first lockdown, hair salons, booksellers, and music stores will be allowed to operate if they follow a particular sanitary protocol.
Le téléphone n'a pas arrêté de sonner ce matin pour savoir si effectivement c'était confirmé. Et oui, voilà, c'est confirmé, les salons de coiffure sont ouverts.
Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire estimates this third lockdown will subtract 4 billion euros from the country's total economic output this year. Still, the government is holding on to its ambitious growth target at 6% for 2020.
Meanwhile, finance ministers from the Group of 7 nations held a virtual meeting this Friday and supported the idea that the International Monetary Fund provides additional aid to the poorest nations hit by the pandemic. Britain's Finance Minister Rishi Sunak, who hosted the meeting, called the agreement a significant milestone that could lead to a larger deal at the G20 and IMF meetings planned for next month. The new aid could come in the form of a new allocation of special drawing rights, or SDR, which is a financial tool which could help countries struggling to pay foreign debt, allowing them to borrow at a much lower interest rate than on international markets. The Bank of Japan has decided to keep its negative interest rates and made slight changes to its ultra-easy monetary policy as it struggles to boost inflation. The changes could have a small impact on long-term interest rates for 10-year bonds. The BOJ also kept its ceiling for its massive stock buying at 12 trillion yen per year, or about 90 billion euros, but dropped the idea of buying at least half that amount every year to shore up the stock market. Governor Haruhiko Kuroda is optimistic a 2% inflation target can be achieved despite a continued drop in consumer price index in Japan.
強力な金融緩和を粘り強く続けることによって 2% の物価安定の目標は達成できると。金融緩和をより効果的にまた持続的にするためのさまざまな工夫を今回したということであります。
Well, with that, let's take a look at the markets now. And financial shares slid following the latest announcement from the Federal Reserve in the United States that it will restore capital requirements on large banks, which were eased during the early days of the pandemic. Meanwhile, technology shares rose, lifting the Nasdaq. The S&P, meanwhile, fell below the flatline, ending the week in negative territory. Oil prices, meanwhile, rose 2% this Friday. This comes as a Saudi oil facility again suffered an attack from Houthi rebels. Saudi Aramco says that the drone attack caused no damage and does not affect production. Paris has become the latest major French city to turn on 5G networks. It follows Bordeaux, Lyon and Marseille in switching on the next generation mobile links. Phone operators say that existing 4G services won't be impacted and people with 5G-enabled phones will see their connection speeds triple. Camille Nedelec has the story.
The City of Lights has just got a tech upgrade. For the first time, Parisians will be able to use 5G, which is currently 3 times faster than 4G. Telecoms operators Orange, Bouygues and SFR have all switched on their 5G networks in the capital. The new network had already been rolled out in a number of areas across France, including major cities such as Marseille, Lyon and Bordeaux. In a statement on its website, telecoms operator Orange pledged that 4G service quality would not be affected and underlined the potential of 5G.
As companies accelerate their digitalization, 5G will enable Parisians to develop innovative applications, and it will speed up innovations that will galvanize Paris society and the economy.
France has lagged behind the US and China with its rollout of the new technology, as some local mayors and residents fiercely opposed it over environmental and health concerns. The mayor of Lille tweeted that the city won't be adopting it until after the National Health Agency publishes its report on the technology's impact this spring, saying it was crucial to wait. But the president made clear that he wasn't budging.
Évidemment, on va passer à la 5G. Je vais être très clair. La France, c'est le pays des lumières. C'est le pays de l'innovation. Et beaucoup des défis que nous avons sur tous les secteurs, ils se relèveront par l'innovation.
But despite the resistance in some quarters, 5G is now gathering pace in the country. Between the end of January to the end of February, the number of 5G-enabled areas went up by almost 12%.
And it's World Sleep Day today, a day to remind people of the importance of slumber. In China, the so-called sleep economy is booming exponentially as people head to nap centers to catch up on their sleep. According to a recent report, more than 300 million Chinese people suffer from a sleep disorder, and the market for businesses offering places to rest is expected to hit 52 billion euros this year and reach 150 billion euros by 2030. Let's hear from the manager of a sleeping pod shop called the Floating Bar.
Floating is an experience similar to returning to the mother's womb, which will help shut off all your feelings from noise. People just stay with their breath.
We should both go to bed early tonight.
I think definitely. I like this idea of focusing more on sleep. We all need it so much. Yuka, thank you very much for our roundup of the business news.